So here we are with episode 8 of Frasier. Now, I know I give the character of David a lot of flack, but in this case, this episode showcased David's backstory and focused a lot of attention on him and his relationship he has had with his parents, Niles and Daphne. While still essentially being a side gag, David isn't coping with the fact that he got a B in his uncle's class. Now, speaking of uncles, Frasier accidentally gets called professor in his class, and this prompts him to apply for a professorship. This episode was fine. It wasn't on par with episodes 7 and 8 in terms of capturing that witty humor, but it was fun, and for once the side gag didn't fall flat and actually served a big purpose and just wasn't there for the sake of filler. Kelsey Grammer goes on to do some wonderful physical comedy at the end of this episode, but I will get to that. David actually enlists the help of cousin Freddie, who has this talent and this knack for becoming quite the academic when he is drunk. David comes to the conclusion that Freddie can definitely help him with his next term paper and then try and get him that A+. All the while we see Frasier, Alan, and Olivia try to charm and win over the head of the board to try and secure Frasier's professorship. But Alan pours what's left of his morning booze in one of the coffee cups, and of course, their guest gets the boozy cup. So things aren't looking good for Frasier's professorship. Yeah. And in a last-ditch effort to win over the affection of the head of the board, Frasier makes some pastries that apparently it's his favorite. He ends up getting stung by a bee. David approaches Frasier and says, "I want a second chance. Let me finish off this lecture now to get that A+," while Frasier is on the verge of having an anaphylactic reaction from a bee sting. Freddie hits him with an EpiPen, but the epinephrine is definitely kicking in now, and Frasier starts welting up, all the while just giving Freddie a B- after a brilliant monologue and speech and performance, quite frankly. This is where David definitely has shined so far in the series. Freddie and David suggest to Frasier that they need to get him to a hospital, but he takes his basket of pastries and heads to the board meeting to try and get his professorship with a severe reaction to a bee sting and epinephrine. He rocks up to the board meeting. The head of the board obviously thinking that Frasier is severely intoxicated, but this showcases some brilliant physical comedy from Kelsey Grammer once again with some lovely bloated bee sting makeup. And of course, Frasier still stays Dr. Crane. Now after this, there is a nice little one-on-one with Freddie and David. They've had their little micro one-on-ones throughout the series so far, but this is the most in-depth they've gotten, and really just having that nice little D&M where David expresses his upbringing with Niles and Daphne and all the pressure that he puts on himself. Unnecessary pressure for that matter. It ends with Freddie eventually helping David with another paper, and then there's a nice little gag at the end with the end credits with Freddie doing some magic whilst passed out drunk. Now I had two favorite moments in this episode, and this was them.
Well, my rapport with the students is of the utmost importance to me.
Excuse me?
No. You still remember French?
Bien sûr, Papa.
He sounds like the candle from that movie.
So yeah, overall guys, again, this episode was fine. We have 2 episodes left. I really hope they go out with a bang, especially after the bangers that were episode 6 and episode 7. We'll just have to wait and see. Love you guts, and I'll catch you in the next one.